My name is Richard Swett, and I serve as Managing Principal at the Leo A. Daly in the Washington office. We live in a very complicated world today. There are more and more people, there are more and more technologies, there are more and more things that are happening at a faster and faster pace. We need leaders who can categorize, organize, integrate, and put into perspective all of these activities. If we are unable to do that, we will essentially kill ourselves by chaos. And it is my belief that the design professions are the problem solvers, the organizers, the creators of the systems that are going to help bring order to this very chaotic planet that we live on. So I think the future of the design professions will be to provide this kind of creative problem-solving expertise. And the thing that is missing right now is that they're going to also have to acquire the leadership skills to make those design solutions more and more effective and better understood by the broadest number of people. Well, I'm working in China, not in India at the moment, but China and Russia. These are both countries that have very highly centralized governments. My experience is that their ability to understand, plan, and create the communities that the future will require is very difficult for them. If you add to that the layering of trying to bring democratic institutions into these communities, not that that's what's happening immediately, but that is where civilization is going. This is going to become even more difficult for these countries that have had very little tradition in the democratic process. So my feeling again is that there is a real urgent need for leadership that understands how to integrate all of those very aspects or variable aspects of democratic debate so that they can find common cause, common direction, and common application. That is how you pull together a complicated solution for very complicated problem sets. And I think that architects are eminently qualified to provide that kind of leadership. Well, you know, we'll always have to have the ability to use three-dimensional relationship skills. I think the ability to design in space is incredibly important because it helps to create the neighborhoods, the workspaces, the homes where people can live and enjoy a good quality of life. The difference is that there are many more people to house, to make productive, to put in the workplace, and to transport from place to place. That requires a much greater understanding of how to fit these pieces together, and I think that with that comes extremely important knowledge about economic and political issues, being able to resolve the differences between the various groups and activities, between the various budgets and pocketbooks. You know, all of these things really call out for a very good understanding of the complexity of all of these different parts interacting one upon the other. I don't think that anyone is going to be able to understand everything there is to know about these things, but there's someone who's got to be in a position who understands how to bring all those expert opinions and bits of information together, and I think that's the role of the architect. So there will be a spatial requirement. There always will be with architecture, but there's going to be much more economic, political, and cultural requirements, and that really has to do with the client that architects serve most, and that's not the buildings, those are the people. You know, the client is a human being, not a technology. And so understanding how people interact is going to be critical to successful architects. So many architects today sort of say the same thing, which is we've become a commodity. People want a building, they push a button, or they go to a firm and the firm pushes a button and the building appears. I think what really is going to happen is that we as architects have to provide a broader, deeper more important service that happens before that building is conceived. It has to do with understanding the processes, the relationships, the decision making that goes on within any community that is considering putting a building up, whether it's a business, whether it's a family, whether it is a government sector. All of these are communities that are trying to answer these questions prior to putting the building in place, and that's something that the architects have to understand how to deal with. And I think that we will see more and more architects with business degrees, architects with financial backgrounds, architects with political understanding. They are the ones who are going to be the most successful in the future. Because you understand the processes I've been describing. You know, so many of the older generation don't get it still. They don't understand that these are the things that they have to be good at. It's very difficult for them to grasp the complexity and the depth and the breadth of all of these issues when they were never trained to do that. They never really experienced it in the way that their practice was carried forward. And so they've essentially gone through their whole lives, you know, working off of a set of traditional understandings and applications that make it very difficult for them to change. Young people are growing up in a very dynamic, very different environment, and that makes them much more adaptable, much more willing to test and try and incorporate these issues, and I think also makes them ready to take these challenges on with a great deal of enthusiasm and confidence, whereas I think the older generations are less enthusiastic and less confident in doing these things.